I am Miguel Cablin, and I was born in this beautiful land. Since I was young, I started on the spiritual path without a teacher, having direct experiences of the divine presence. But then I understood that just having an experience is not enough, but one wants to be in the divine presence all the time. So I knew that I had a long path to walk and a lot to learn, so I looked for a teacher, and that carried me eventually to find this place. We are now gathered in Alcamari, which is a retreat center in La Paz, Bolivia, in the Bolivian Andes, because when we inaugurated this place, the reason we did it was because we had a mystical revelation during an equinox, where through a revelation through the condor and the light of the sun and our actual condor flying overhead, through a violet flame, we were instructed to do our work here. Many years after having worked with many different traditions, because this has always been a place of many different traditions, because we always have known that our path is to integrate the different traditions that are now accessible to us from all over the world that used to be secret before. So we have teachers from various lineages, from Native North American, Amazonian, Andean, Tibetan Dzogchen, and now the Sikh devotional Babaji. So it is vital to have the presence of an enlightened master that can shake us out of our complacency, that makes us believe that we are actually going forward in a path when we're not. I had always wondered what is there to the condor and eagle prophecy that one keeps on hearing about. So one time during a ceremony in our kiva, on the altar there was a painting that my teacher gifted us of the condor and the eagle, and I decided to pick up two feathers of condor and eagle and hold them in each hand, and I did have a leap of consciousness, a mystical revelation, and I said out loud, yes, now the condor and the eagle have finally definitely met. And a few seconds after, we had this incredible presence manifest in the kiva that was so sacred, so overwhelming, so blessed, so perfect, so graceful, that I couldn't do anything but to prostrate myself on the floor, knowing that I was in the presence of the divine. It was this presence that since then has been accompanying us through all the various ceremonies from the different traditions that we hold, and it's been helping us to purify our consciousness and to overcome our obstacles. And it is that energy that I am convinced later on brought us to meet Babaji, who is the last teacher that I met, and who is the embodiment of that energy, which is the energy of the Messiah, of the new time, of a heaven on earth, of paradise that we're all seeking and are destined to embody. So in the way that we work with shamanism, we work it to actually embody that universal consciousness, and that is the goal. And at the very least, to be able to get a taste of the state of grace and enlightenment, so that we can then begin to seek it every day of our lives. And in order to do that, in order to experience that state, we have to start to remove some of our karmas, our traumas, all the things that keep us tied to suffering, such as pride, envy, lust, greed, hatred, etc. All those things, all those poisons which hold us to suffering. And so in shamanism, there are very many different techniques, even the sun moon dance, which is 3 days, no food, no water, or taking psychoactive substances, sacred divine sacraments like ayahuasca and San Pedro, which break the barriers of our subconsciousness and push us way beyond our comfort zone, making us face our truth and getting rid of our poor version of ourselves in which we usually inhabit, and pretend sometimes to be walking the spiritual path while maintaining ourselves within our comfort zone. In this version of shamanism, we definitely push ourselves beyond the level of comfort and are faced with our truth and are thereby helped by the Spirit to purify, to liberate many of our problems that don't allow us to be our better selves, to be in harmony and to flow spontaneously and be one with the divine and manifest our true destiny. Again, however, in shamanism also, most of the practitioners, as well as the practitioners of any religion, most people practice it in ways that are helpful to people, that provide them some guidance, make them have better lives. But there really are very few and far in between and precious and rare individuals that have accessed the transcendent, that are truly serving the divine consciousness, the absolute transcendence, the enlightened mind, that have really touched into the cosmic consciousness. Humbleness is vital. The devotion, the surrender, the will to obey a will that is not ours, that submit our will to the divine will. If we can connect to the truth and let it flow spontaneously from within, the Tao already said it, everything that flows spontaneously from within makes for a perfect harmonious whole. That is my hope for humanity, the Messiah, the Pachacuri, the new time. That is a time of harmony and peace upon earth, when each of us can leave our egos aside and serve the divine will, the spontaneous liberation that Dzogchen speaks about, the mystical union with God that Sikhism speaks about. So all who are called, who feel the call to receive the light, to allow that light to transform us, to surrender to that light, so that we may be able to become light and be able to light that light in others through the spirit of contagion. That way we can contribute to the liberation of our humanity from the chains of suffering, ignorance that we're currently immersed in. But each one has to assume really their own work, and it's hard work that nobody can do for us, and that each one has to traverse, so that we may become really a congregation, a community of saints channeling the divine light and sharing it with others, really becoming temples of light. Babaji, when he came, touched me very deeply, because he said the spirit, the divine spirit that we have shared this whole week and which has been sharing and helping us to liberate for this whole week will never leave this place, Alkamari, again. So for me, that was very touching, because I believe that is really the trigger of the destiny of this place manifesting, because it also is the forebringer of all the work that is to come. And so this is a call for people to come, because this was always a sacred, powerful place, regarded as such by the native inhabitants. It has incredibly powerful energies that unite our sacred mountain with Lake Titicaca and Cusco, but which were not harmonized before and which now are beginning to flower their potential. So since Babaji's arrival here, we know that many blessed things are happening, and we pray that all the hearts of the people that come here are touched deeply, so that we may all touch our truth, which is that there's only one humanity, one truth, and the love that unites us.